back on the outside. You kind of see what I mean. There's another airport down there. There's loads of airports. Look, there's a little one here. So many airports. Now you can see how lush and green that is. As if the rainfall that comes in just hits this as it precipitates going up this hill. And then when you get to the side, of course, the rain doesn't get very far down here, so... I remember my geography classes about precipitation. And over here it's all dry, essentially. You get some fantastic views in this game, you really can. Okay, so desert, more runways, desert and runways, and then little pocket villages. Don't know what these are, and believe it or not, some farmland. Kind of find hard to believe. The game seems to be split into a grid, like you can see these sectors kind of texture load in and draw. So that's not really going to look like that in real life. Not one bit. But if we bring up the FMC, we can see 216 now to Las Vegas. And it's pure desert all the way. Bye bye Los Angeles. Bye bye California. Little aircraft down there, see? $200. Won't take that long to get at this speed. We could go for 8. You see the miles just climb down then. So while we're doing that, I'm going to bring this flight level down to about 6,000. Actually, maybe 5. I'm going to intercept the glide slope down at runway 01. See the sun really setting now. Incredible scenery. When you've got it speeded up like this, you can see the clouds moving, the sun going down. It's just amazing. There you see the towns are starting to get lit up. They got the colours just right though. That's what cracks me up. They got this wonder kind of bleed effect between the blue and the orange. Such a good job. Looks like we're going to be on a nighttime landing by the look of it. Look at that over there. $100 nautical miles down to Las Vegas. Now if you keep your eye on this thing here, you can see our sort of flight plan now as we're making our turn. Vegas was on the right. I'm going to bring the speed down. When you come out of 8 times speed, it always does that. You can see it's slightly off our route now. I think the simulation rate was a bit too much for it to keep up with. Slow it right down. Okay. So Vegas is on the right over there. Let's get an outside view and have a look at this. There it is. So we should start to descend. So 1 nautical, see 2 TD, top of descent, right. We should start our climb now. So I'm going to put the speed brake on, or the air brake, which should slow us down. You can hear it, providing some resistance. That will bring our speed down. Go back into normal speed. So So we're going to loop past it as we make our descent. Like so, you can see it's banking right now. Bring that up. Throw on the flight plan. You see we're descending, 23,000, coming down. Start our vertical speed so that we descend a bit more rapidly. Now, one thing we need to do, because we are starting to descend and bank, is put the seatbelt sign on, so people don't fall all over the place going to the bathroom. Don't have to worry about our lights just yet. Now we can set our auto brake. Auto brake basically means when we hit the runway it will automatically engage the brake for us. It's one less thing for us to do. Check where we are on our legs. Looking good so far. You see Vegas runway. Slightly off our course. Need to bring our speed right back, I think. We're overshooting our course by quite a bit. That was completely my mistake. That was one thing I forgot to do, was bring our speed down for our descent. So I put the speed brake on and didn't bring the throttle back. My bad. So you can see what's happened now. We've overshot our curve because the curve is too tight for the speed we were going at 280 or whatever it was. Unfortunately, we're descending as well, and I can't put the flaps out just yet because we're going a little bit too quickly. So we're going to have to wait for our speed to come back. It's okay. We can still recover this. It's not a problem. But yeah, I made a mistake there. Kept the speed too high going into the curve. And now I've got to compensate for it. As I say, the best laid plans. But yeah, it doesn't look Vegas look pretty cool now. Let's get a view overhead. It's all lit up. Come around the back. So there's the runway, as you can see. That's Vegas. You see the detail of the scenery has been put in there, but not everywhere else. It could, you know, the computer system could not calculate and draw all of this stuff, unless you wanted a frame rate of about 1 frame every 5 seconds, in which case it probably could. Right, so we got our speed down to 250, so I'm going to bring some flaps in now, which will help to kill our speed a little bit more. Looking good. So the flight management is trying to get us back onto our course line, which is what we want. So we're going to go down here, loop left, and make our landing. As we make that final turn, we'll arm the approach, which will engage the ILS, which I'll use to manually land. That is the plan. I think we're looking good now. We're managing to stay on our course line. We're down to 15,000. We need to bring down a lot more altitude. Or descending quite rapidly. Of course, when you descend, you gain speed. And we're trying to arrest speed and descend at the same time, which is tricky. I should have been lower by this point, really. I should have been down about 10,000 at this point. Maybe less. 15,000 is very high. So I'm going to engage a bit more flaps, try and kill some speed. What's the landing gear? So we'll pull out the landing gear. We'll of course create a lot more drag, which is what we want. There's the landing gear out. Drag is good. It's going to slow us down, let us come down out the sky a lot quicker. 13,000, still a bit high. You can see our target altitude of 5,000. It's that green arc there. We're going to reach our target altitude at this point. It's 5,000, which is absolutely fine. It means that when we come round here, we'll engage the ILS glide path correctly. So we're all good. We're all set up okay. Killed our speed quite nicely. You can't bring out the flaps and gear too early though, because you just rip them off. I just remembered at the start of this flight, in real life, I had a cup of tea. And my cup of tea is now cold, because I'm concentrating so much on this. None of this is automatic for me. It's still very much thinking about everything I have to do. Okay. Everything's looking good here. We'll arm the speed brake later. ILS was programmed in, that's good. We'll turn our landing lights on shortly, not just yet though. We're at 10,000, still descending. Nighttime landings. Some people say nighttime landings are easier. In some respects they are, because you know, in the daytime, trying to pick out the runway visually amongst all the other buildings and, you know, the sceneries can be quite difficult until you're just a few nautical miles away. But at night time, you've got these flashing strip lights around the runway and you can see it for miles. So in some respects it is easier, whereas, you know, you might think it's harder to land at night, but that's not always the case. Certainly landing in fog, in a crosswind, is definitely hard. Or a snow blizzard at night time. I mean, that's, you know, that's pushing the boat out, so to speak. That is going to be difficult. But for now, I'm quite content to land in calm weather and just enjoy the scenery. That's the other thing, of course, is if I put all the fog and the snow on, we're not going to see quite so much scenery. So there is that. Okay, we're about to make our left turn, as you can see down here, the flight plan. And then we'll make our final turn. That's a caution for the terrain because we are obviously low over these mountains now. So I might just bring that up to 6,000, like so. Don't want to hit the mountains, do we? You can see our current altitude, 7,200. Obviously they are quite low. So I think we'll just stick 6.5 and make this turn. Terrain. Oh, I'm not flying, mate. You're flying. That's 6,500. And then we're going to bank left. You see we're quite low. Possibly a bit too low. There you go. Probably should have come in at 7,000, but we'll be fine. If you were on board as a passenger, you'd be thinking, oh my life. That is a bit low. Yeah, I would probably should have gone for 7,000 here. You've always got to take into account. See, this one here is quite low. We'll be okay. There's nobody really lives here. It's not that we're going to buzz them. Buzz the control tower like Top Gun style. Right, now we should be banking left. Heading towards the moonlight. So there are, if I show you some of the instrument lighting now, you can turn on this stuff. when it becomes night time like that. And there's more down here. We turn on the floodlighting like this. You know, so you can light the place up basically, depending on how you want it. That doesn't have a flood, it just has some lighting. Okay, so making our final turn. 6,500. So what I've done there is just arm the approach. So now it's time to put our landing lights on. Like so. And Vegas should be on our left as we make our final turn. Now, I armed the approach though, which basically means, as you'll see, the ILS is now engaged. So we need to keep our eye on these two markers here. They'll go into a diamond when it locks onto the ILS, which it won't do until we make our final turn here. Auto brakes on. So I'm going to bring our speed back down now. Put the gears up on full. So just turn off the auto throttle. I'll just hold it myself. So I've now got manual control of throttle. It's good to get that fairly early before you disengage the autopilot, because then it's one less thing to have to adjust. Should be making our final turn. Shortly. .25 nautical miles out. Vegas is over there. This is not Vegas below us. Vegas is over there. Right, so now we're making our final turn. These thing here, the ILS, should lock on shortly. And we get our diamonds. And we use that to glide in on the glide slope. Now we are on final to Vegas. You see it ahead down there. Going to bring my speed up a touch. We're flying a bit too slowly now. Okay, we could have probably done this a little bit quicker, but it's okay. We're still fine. I don't know which airport that is. There's Vegas down there. You can see all the speed. Oh, I've still got the speed brakes up. I'll probably turn that off now. It's not helping. Do not need that, and we'll do a shift to arm the speed brake for auto. So the speed brake's off, but it's armed. As soon as we hit the runway, this auto brake will kick in, and the speed brake will pop up, and obviously I'll reverse thrust. We do everything we can to stop the aircraft at that point. But right now we don't need the speed brake. It's quite nice the way the moon just like reflects off the aircraft. It's really nice. So if I was flying this again, what I would probably do is wait until I make this final approach turn before I engage the full flaps and gear and all the rest of it. I think we could have come in a bit faster. I think I've slowed myself down to landing speed too early. Because we are quite far out. I didn't quite appreciate that we'd be 25 nautical miles away at this point. And that's quite a bit. That's enough. We should have been coming round here about 200, 220, I think. And then started to put the brakes and gear down on our final approach. But like I say, very much learning this game and how to fly well. Now, that is the runway. I'll come back on the throttle a bit now. You see there's an aircraft landing. Hopefully we'll get a clear runway, but it's not guaranteed because we're not using air traffic control. I could request an air traffic control landing. Las Vegas approach. That's BS space transition. Well, we're going to ignore that. Okay, here's the diamond I was talking about. So I'm going to bring this up now. There you see the diamond there, the diamond here. So now I'm going to disengage autopilot. I'm going to take over. I'll bring that up so you can see what we're doing. That's not going to help. Now I wish I'd never talked to him because he's just going to keep popping up. Anyway, let's land this thing. Okay, I need to go down a little bit. We are currently left of the runway, so I need to come left. Our glide path is good. Our descent is good. Throttle down a little touch. I think we're on the left runway. So there's two runways there, I think. And we're coming in on the left one. So I'm just heading left until that diamond at the bottom moves to the right. You see it coming across now? And then I start to straighten up. There we go. Like so. So now we're lined up on the runway. Just pull back on the stick slightly and just got to keep my eye on the speed. We've done a little bit too fast, so throttle back a little bit. Still a little bit right on the runway, but it's okay. If I just aim to the right slightly, That'll come back, and then I've just got to straighten it up again. Right. Throttle back quite a bit now. You see the frame rate starting to take a bit of a tanking. So we want to be coming in at about 140 or so. So I'm just going to throttle back again. That's the computer telling us we're at 1,000 feet. So we're looking good so far. Bringing the speed back, the glide slope's good. Vegas at night. If you look closely, you can see the cars as well. That doesn't help. Just to the left a little bit. And fire, throttle back, pull back on the stick. Reverse thrust. Touchdown. Now I need to get off the runway as quickly as possible. So we'll just exit on the left here, and then we'll request, again this is GSX thing, we'll request a taxi. We'll request a taxi to a gate so we can deboard the passengers. So that was a reasonable landing. I'd probably give myself about 5 to a 6 out of 10. I've done better landings than that. I come back on the speed a little bit too much, and it kept saying glide slope because my glide slope wasn't correct. I was a little bit too slow. Now if we bring up GSX, let's go for Terminal Concourse B, and let's go to gate B21. Request follow me. So we'll just wait for that now. A car will come over to collect us. Runway lights on. Well, you can see Vegas. This is Vegas. Look at that. How cool is that? Vegas at night. As it should be. Oh, tail lights off, apparently. Logo's on. So here he is. He's going to take us to our gate. Disengage the parking brake. Get ready to follow this guy. You don't want to lose this guy. And he does tend to take a weird course sometimes. You won't always follow the denominated paths on the floor here. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good. So he knows the way, that's the good thing about this. Again, this is not stock FSX, this is GSX thing. That's the air traffic control comms for other aircraft in the area. That's what you're hearing. So my next goal for this game is to bring in the air traffic control as well, so that I can, you know, if I plan a flight approach and then the air traffic control says no, I don't want you to land on runway 01L, I want you to land on runway whatever, I know how to go into my FMC and reprogram the flight plan and you know, dynamically change my flight. That's my next goal, and that will mean I'm then taking off and landing on air traffic control, which of course keeps me safe and makes it a little bit more realistic as well. So he's going left now, so we're going over here. He doesn't even have indicators, the guy doesn't even tell you he's doing it. I'm just going to look left and right just to make sure we're not about to cross this runway when somebody's landing or taking off. This is a good view. Let's get over here. There we go. It's a pretty cool view. So he's taking us over here to the main terminal. Again, just double checking that it's all clear. I don't really trust this car. I'm not sure I trust that car to basically check there's no aircraft coming in. So my plans for this game are basically to fly around the world, different continents, different countries. Experience the sights of the world, if you like, via plane. Obviously I've got a bigger version of this 737, which is the 8/900 series, so we could do that. Also I'm looking at sort of smaller flights, looking at buying something like a twin prop engine, twin prop aircraft, and you know, going around the UK or around Europe or around the Grand Canyon, you know, kind of smaller stuff, so we can get much lower down, just a few thousand feet, and really sort of duck in and out of some of the smaller airports and more interesting places to go to. So that's, you know, that's where I'm going with it in terms of future videos. I appreciate not everybody will like flight sims. They are complicated, and this one is definitely complicated. But if you like flight sims, then maybe you'll enjoy this. Now, where did he go? Oh, there he is. So there should be a guy down here as well with those light sticks. There you go, B21. That's where we are. Get myself lined up. So we've got to slow down and wait for him to cross those sticks as he's doing now. A little bit more forward. And crossed. That'll do. Please cut engines, as it says, so we'll put park and brake on. Now before we cut the engines, of course, we need power. So what we do is we go to menu, actions, ground connections, and we put the wheel chocks on. We connect ground power. We go to the overhead and we make sure that ground power is on, and then we cut the engines. Also we should There we go. So that's the engine shutting down, but we're on ground power, so if I get over here, we can now request deboarding. So we'll bring the jetty in. Activate ground services, request deboarding. Remember to operate the jetway, which I did. You don't need all these landing lights. We'll need some lights out there, I think. Okay, so now we're saying open cargo. So we need to go to menu, actions, doors, next page. Cargo is here. And then he'll want... Oh, there is no jetway here, I don't think. Is there any jetway here? Oh yeah, it's coming in. That's cool. Then we can open the left side forward and aft doors. Like so. Unfortunately, when you look away, the jetway disappears. It's just one of those things. There we go. We have landed at Vegas. What a beautiful place it is. All the passengers are getting off. We landed safely. I could have landed smoother, but we had some issues on the way. That's fine, I dealt with them all. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Obviously, I'm sure you've got route suggestions, which generally involve landing somewhere near where you live. That's absolutely fine. I am going to do a round the world trip and also some smaller flights, as I said. I'm not going to be changing planes. I'm going to be sticking with the 737 for the bigger flights, and something smaller with twin propellers for the shorter flights. And they're going to be detailed aircraft, and I'm going to stick to those. I'm not really interested in keep changing aircraft right now because there's still quite a learning curve around this game that I've got to get through before I can start chopping and changing aircraft. It's not like, you know, Train Simulator or Euro Truck, just jump into a different vehicle and off you go. It's a bit more to it than that. But please remember, give me a like if you enjoyed that, and a favourite if you really enjoyed that. Leave some comments, let me know what you think of my Flight Simulator videos. Have I improved? I hope you say yes. Anyway, till the next video, guys, take care and happy flying.